Oba Ovonramwen is one of the most important figures in Nigerian history. His story is not just the story of a king. It is the story of a powerful African empire, foreign interference, war, resistance, betrayal, and exile. Long before colonial Nigeria existed, the ancient kingdom of Benin stood as one of Africa's greatest civilizations. At the heart of this powerful kingdom was the city of Benin, today known as Benin City. European travelers who visited Benin between the 15th and 19th centuries were amazed by what they saw. Wide streets stretched across the city. Massive earthworks surrounded it. Magnificent palaces displayed intricate bronze artworks that would later become famous around the world as the Benin Bronzes. For centuries, the kingdom expanded its influence through trade, military strength, and political organization. The ruler of this powerful empire was known as the Oba. And in the late 19th century, the throne belonged to a man named Oba Ovonramwen Nogbaisi. Born around 1857, Ovonramwen was the son of Oba Adilo. When his father died in 1888, he ascended the throne and became Oba of Benin. Few people could have predicted that he would become the last independent ruler of the kingdom before British conquest. By the late 19th century, European powers were scrambling to seize territories across Africa. Britain was rapidly expanding its control over what would eventually become Nigeria. The Niger Delta and surrounding regions were becoming increasingly important because of palm oil and other valuable resources. British officials and traders wanted direct access to the region's commerce. But Benin remained independent. The kingdom carefully controlled foreign trade and restricted outsiders from entering its territory. To British officials, this independence became an obstacle. To the people of Benin, it was sovereignty. As tensions increased, British representatives pushed for treaties that would place Benin under British influence. The kingdom resisted many of these efforts. The collision between two powers was becoming unavoidable. The fateful journey of 1897. Everything changed in January 1897. A British acting consul named James Robert Phillips decided to travel to Benin despite warnings not to do so. At the time, important religious ceremonies were taking place in the kingdom. Benin officials reportedly informed him that the timing was inappropriate and requested a delay. Phillips ignored the warnings. He and his party continued toward Benin. What happened next remains one of the most debated episodes in Nigerian history. A Benin force intercepted the expedition. Most members of the British party were killed. Only a few survived. News of the incident reached Britain and caused outrage. For British authorities, it became the justification they needed for military action. The response came swiftly. In February 1897, Britain launched what became known as the Benin Expedition of 1897. A heavily armed force marched toward Benin. The kingdom fought back, but the technological gap was enormous. British troops possessed modern rifles, machine guns, and superior military resources. As they advanced, villages were destroyed. Defenders were overwhelmed. Eventually, British forces entered Benin City. What followed became one of the greatest cultural tragedies in African history. The royal palace was looted. Thousands of priceless artworks were seized. Bronze plaques, ivory carvings, royal treasures, and sacred objects were taken away. Many were sold across Europe. Today, these treasures, known collectively as the Benin Bronzes, can still be found in museums and collections around the world. When British troops entered Benin City, Oba Ovonramwen did not immediately surrender. For months, he remained in hiding. The British demanded his capture. Pressure mounted on local chiefs and communities. Eventually, realizing further resistance would bring even more suffering to his people, Ovonramwen surrendered in August 1897. Witnesses described the moment as heartbreaking. The once powerful ruler of one of Africa's greatest kingdoms stood before the representatives of an expanding colonial empire. His kingdom had been conquered. His palace had been destroyed. His treasures had been taken. His authority had been broken. The British removed Ovonramwen from Benin and sent him into exile. He was transporting to Calabar. For years, he lived far from the kingdom he had ruled. Although stripped of political power, many of his people continued to regard him as their rightful king. In exile, he watched from afar as British colonial administration transformed the region. The independent kingdom he had inherited no longer existed. On January 8, 1914, Ovonramwen died in exile. The timing was remarkable. That same year, Britain formally amalgamated northern and southern Nigeria into what became modern Nigeria. The king, who had fought to preserve Benin's independence, did not live to see any restoration of his authority. His death marked the end of a dramatic chapter in Benin history. His legacy lives on. Today, historians view Ovonramwen as one of the most significant resistance figures of the colonial era. Some see him as a ruler caught in the path of European imperial expansion. Others view him as a symbol of African sovereignty and resistance. His story remains inseparable from the story of the Benin Bronzes, many of which have become the subject of international campaigns for repatriation. In recent years, museums in Europe and North America have begun returning some Benin artifacts to Nigeria, renewing global interest in the kingdom and its last independent ruler. More than a century after his exile, Oba Ovonramwen's name still echoes through Benin history. He was not merely a king who lost a war. He was the ruler who stood at the final crossroads between an ancient African empire and the arrival of colonial rule. His kingdom fell. His palace burned. His treasures were scattered across continents. Yet his story survived. And today, the last great Oba of independent Benin remains one of the most powerful symbols of resistance, dignity, and the enduring legacy of the Benin Kingdom.